Our enemies have a plan. Our enemy's leader has a plan. We all have one common enemy. His name is Satan, and right now his minions are trying to run this country. We're going to expose all the lies around the COVID bioweapons. We're going to expose all the lies around our fake and stolen rig elections. We're going to put the sexual depravity of our fake leaders on full display. And then, when the truth is known to the entire world, we are going to have extreme accountability. We will be the plan. We are never going to give up.
They are scared to death. They are so terrified, petrified of me and of this platform, a formidable opponent like you and us together. The general public at large that now understands we live under the empire of lies, that we live in an occupied country with a uniparty fake government, a murderous corporate crime syndicate. A platform like this that's unwilling to do business or sell out with big pharma, trillion-dollar industry, whose stakeholders are very aware it's necessary to get a shot into the arm of every single living and breathing organism across the face of the planet in order to rake in these trillions of dollars and repay their paymasters in a foreign country that controls our government. And just days ago, it was Brevard County, Florida's turn to be the censorship attack dogs and to perpetuate what looks like a massive government cover-up by violating Americans' right to free speech and the right to interface with their own elected officials. Justin Robert attended the May 21st meeting of the Brevard County Commission to address the 1986 explosion of the Challenger space shuttle. You'll all know, or remember, or have learned, that space shuttle launch happened at the Kennedy Space Center in Brevard County, and which we've been told killed 7 astronauts as the shuttle exploded while trying to break through the atmosphere. But what if it was all a psyop? What if nobody actually died and the astronauts from the Challenger are still alive and well? This disaster, like so many others, was used to rile up Americans and promote patriotism. Bizarrely, it was used to restore Americans' faith in government, even though it was their government that had actually just botched a rocket launch. But what if NASA knew from the very beginning that they couldn't break through the firmament? And what if instead they sent an unmanned rocket into the sky for show? That's a distinct possibility. Because the information that Justin Robert brought to the Brevard County Commission, the information that the commission used police power to stifle, that information indicates that nobody died aboard the Challenger. Justin presented evidence that multiple people that we've been told were Challenger astronauts are actually alive and well today, working in high-paying jobs under the exact same names, looking the exact same as the people that we have been told died on their way into space. But when he brought this to the Brevard County Commission's attention, they shut him down.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I come here asking for your help, but first a little backstory. I think we all remember the Challenger explosion that took place in 1986 that tragically took the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. It launched not too far from where we're standing here today. Well, the interesting thing is, a couple decades later, this thing called the internet came about, and someone allegedly found almost all of those astronauts alive and well, many using the same exact names. As you can see here, we have Challenger astronaut Judith Resnick and also Judith Resnick, Yale law professor. Michael J. Smith, the pilot of the Challenger astronaut, and also professor at University of Wisconsin, now retired Michael J. Smith. Commander Dick Scobie, who is now president of Cows and Trees. Now, if you'll notice, they all have the exact same faces 30 some odd years later, the same exact name, and they are the same age. Now, we all have a doppelganger out there, right? No big deal. But to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare, I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names. This, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond statistically impossible. Ms. Resnick was questioned at Yale by a journalist, and she panicked and ran from the camera. Why? Mr. Michael J. Smith was also questioned, and he said, yeah, we look alike, but that's not me. You can see both of these exchanges in a film called Level with Me, and you can be the judge. Mr.
Sir,
Scobie
I'm going to have
not only has...
I'm going to have to stop.
Sir, this is
you.
a public comment.
I know what it is, sir. I'm very familiar with the public comment.
Okay.
And part of the public comment is that you're only allowed to address things that we have jurisdiction over. We have no
I have a direct request at the end of this that is in your purview, sir, please. I do. Can we hold the time, please? I have a direct request that...
Listen to me.
Okay.
Very carefully. Mr. Richardson, would you give an opinion in regards to this, please?
Yes, public comment is reserved for issues or topics that are under the jurisdiction or control of the county commission or that are relevant to the business of the county commission. So if your request at the end is going to explain why that falls into any of this, make that request now before you continue.
Absolutely. So as I was saying, I'll just end it with what I was ending with. But the ask is that Ms. Pritchett, who knows very well about questioning science, whether it be COVID or fluoride, I'm just asking you all to question the science here. Your Goodson and Pritchett, your district covers the Kennedy Space Center. This launched from the Kennedy Space Center. You have the ability to help me in sounding the alarm and asking the federal government for help. If this is contained in your area, I should be able to at least address something that happened here. Don't you agree?
That's not within the jurisdiction or authority of the county commission.
Thank you very much.
Will you let me finish for at least 10
No,
seconds?
sir, you're finished. Thank you.
What are these people hiding exactly? I mean, if there's nothing to hide, why are they calling in their speech police to shut down constitutionally protected speech? Look, the Challenger story, the official narrative, is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, let's just be bare naked honest here. Our government wants us to believe that they found these people's remains on the ocean floor 2 months after they exploded in a fiery death spiral on their way into space. The truth of the matter is this. That's especially about space. It's widely accepted at this point that the moon landing was fake. Huge portions of the U.S. population see the moon landing as Cold War propaganda because that's exactly what it was. It was done on a green screen. There were cables visible in the background. It's never been a believable story. The moon landing was effectively a poorly produced film, and people have been pointing that out since 1969, so why would the Challenger be any different? The burden of proof at this point is and always should be on our fake government. If citizens have questions, they should be answered. And anytime the government goons are turned loose on people who are asking questions, everyone else should start asking those very same questions because there's obviously something there. We wanted to talk more about this with Justin Robert himself, and he's here with us now to that end. They just shut you down. And it goes on, by the way. I mean, there's a longer version of that. But nope, this is not under the jurisdiction of the county commission. To that, you say what?
Yeah, it surprised me, but at the same time, it didn't, because this is what I'm used to at these county meetings. They just shut you down. They make up the rules as they go. And you could see it was an uncomfortable topic for him. So he wanted to just throw me out of there. This guy has a track record of throwing people out from what I'm learning now. So it wasn't supposed to be about him. It's supposed to be about the subject matter, but the subject matter was so triggering that now there's people reporting on this as this kind of like this tyrannical chairman throwing people out of a public meeting. And for what? You could have let me finish. I had 1 more minute. You only get 3 minutes up there. You know, you're looking at me going to a place where I have no recourse. NASA blocked me. Congressmen and senators won't talk to you about it. So where are you supposed to go? I have the county where I can go give my public comment for 3 simple minutes. You let me talk for 2, and I was about to get into my specific ask for them, just to ask for their help, and he couldn't even let me finish. So I was shocked to see him do it, but we did finish outside, thankfully, and got at least our message out there in one complete video.
Well, let's get your message out right now. What is it that you want to do about this? If you were to ask the federal government to petition or redress your grievances, what would you ask? that the federal government does?
Well, I hope that it's the correct route, but since no one will talk to me, I guess we can start with asking the Senate Subcommittee on Space Science, which is headed up by a handful of congressmen and senators, to have a hearing or open a new investigation into this disaster and bring this all to light again. Like I mentioned in my speech, if you really just set your emotions to the side and try to reason with yourself that there's 3 exact lookalikes with the same names for someone on one space flight, 3 people, and there's more than that. We could talk about the identical twins or the other individual, but those 3 alone are beyond statistically impossible. So that should be enough to raise the inquiry. So I would hope that that would happen. It doesn't seem realistic. So the more realistic thing is people need to go out and do exactly what I'm doing. Let's create copycats. Everyone start holding your local officials accountable and say, hey, you need to help me hold the people above you accountable because they won't listen to us. And we can be such a pain in their butt that they literally can't go to a public meeting or get out of their car without someone in the public demanding that they do something about these fake atrocities.